Hey everybody, Hugh Kellenberger here, along with special guest Lynn.
Howdy.
Dustin DePiriac is somewhere in Madison, Wisconsin, enjoying the fine beers at the New Gloss Beer Company. So
I kind of envy him.
Yeah, Hauser was here. He wrote the game story from tonight's season opener, 88-60 win for Indiana over Florida Gulf Coast. How's you've been around this program for as long as anybody has that's still in the working media.
And that sounds old.
That's a good thing, Howes. You're the veteran. I mean, you've been here since not just the end of night, the heart of night.
I was here before Assembly Hall was built.
You were here when the banners were, when there weren't 5 banners.
Yeah, that's a code for old.
Well, so how do you think this team stacks? How is this team? Your impressions?
Well, opening game against an opponent who really doesn't match up. The thing I like tonight is that, they got everybody in, all 14 guys. Nobody played over 25 minutes. They got 3 games in 5 days coming up. So they had to kind of conserve some legs. It was good to see Maurice Creek, kind of not gimping around. It looked like he was, he's not totally back yet.
He's getting a little bit by little bit. It seems like every time we see him, he's just a little bit faster. A little bit more lift. There was a ball that a shot went long today. We didn't see that in the 2 exhibitions. They always went short.
Right. So that's a good sign, and he just looks a little more comfortable, a little more confident on that leg. And that's a big mental thing to get over injuries like that. So he looked like he's not playing with total abandon yet, but it's coming. And I liked what I saw out of Christian Watford again.
Yeah.
And I also like that they just didn't take the first available three-pointer. Now, they started off 0 for 4 from the three-point line. I had them, and then they hit 8 straight. So, I mean, but they had better ball movement. They were good looks, and they knocked them down. So, I mean, they struggled monumentally against Ferris State with the three-point shot. Tonight, it looked way more in sync with the offense.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Jordan Holes not operate as the point guard, especially against his zone. It worked. Against his zone off, it doesn't really matter who brings the ball up. It's about ball movement.
Right.
It doesn't matter who starts it. But it'll kind of allow Jordan to kind of run around and get lost. He is a smaller guy. It can be hard to keep a track of him, especially when you got Watford and Elston and Creek and those guys running around. And he got open in the corners, and he made 6 and 9 3-pointers. Which, I mean, that's his role. That's the way he's going to score points, at least right now.
Right. He's not going to take it to the rim.
No.
Or, it'd be nice if he could get to the free throw line, but that's probably not going to happen. They want guys like Watford to get to the free throw line and Creek to get to the free throw line,
right.
Because they don't have a whole lot of drivers on this team that could, get you there. But all in all, I mean, it was sloppy at times because it was an opener. They had 22 turnovers, and
and the officials were also, especially in the second half, a little bit too whistle friendly for the kind of game it was.
Yeah.
It was so choppy. It's hard to get into a rhythm, and I think sometimes that leads to turnovers. You kind of you keep on expecting it. You keep on waiting, and there were charges and little fouls. You were just like, come on, Mike, let it go. Let them play a little bit.
And they called how many? Like 34 fouls in Indiana or something ridiculous. And, or maybe it was 34 free throws that they shot. I forget, but it was a high number of
34 free throws that they shot. What was concerning was 2 guys fouled out. Tom Pritchard and Derek Elston both fouled out of the game. They played a combined 33 minutes. Right now, Guy-Marc Michel ineligible. Tom's really running with this 4-guard lineup, which means that he needs Pritchard and Elston to remain on the court and play that middle.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
And maybe
tonight.
Copa Bianco, he needs to get more minutes.
It's pretty obvious to see that right now they want Pritchard and Elston on the floor.
Right.
Bianco.
Right.
But they need those guys, and Tom's foul troubles are well chronicled. So are Elston's. So they need to be smarter. They need to pick their spots more carefully, it seems like, especially if they're going to roll with this 4-guard lineup.
Right. Another guy coming back off injury was Verdell Jones.
Yeah.
He looked okay at times. He looked a little rusty too.
Yeah. How do you expect this team to respond? They play on Sunday against Wright State, and I believe it's Mississippi Valley State on Tuesday. So it's 3 games in 5 days, kind of an NBA schedule. How do you think this team will respond and come out Sunday?
I think they'll respond fine, but Wright State's a really good team. I mean, people who don't follow the conference, well, they play in that same conference with Butler. It's usually them and Butler that are battling for that conference title, or sometimes it's Cleveland State or something.
It was such a well-coached team that the head coach got the head job at Clemson, Brad Barnell. But they promoted an assistant head coach, so there's continuity in the program. There's a lot of new faces, but they recruit the kind of guys who are going to fit in their system. So it's not a situation in which is a brand new coach coming in trying to change everything.
Yeah,
there might be some minor tinkering and some whatever that comes with a new coach and new philosophy, but it's not going to be an overhaul. You're going to see a typical Wright State team. That's usually a pretty good team. And
they'll be hard-nosed. I mean, it'll be a really good, tough test. I mean, they're not far off from Big Ten caliber competition. That's how good they
Especially you could probably right. I mean, Iowa's clearly the number 11 team in the conference. There's Wright State and Iowa are probably pretty similar in terms of personnel, in terms of style right now.
Right, and those teams come in with a little bit of chip on their shoulder, like a MAC team does sometime, and it'll be a good game. I think the fans will enjoy watching a good close game. It'll give you much more idea of what this Indiana team's going to be like than a game like this, and that's no insult to Gulf Coast, Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, they are what they are, and they've only been in existence 9 years and only 4 years as a Division I school. So, and so you really don't know yet what this Indiana team's going to look like. But there's enough good spots tonight that I'm convinced they're going to be better than last year. I think they just got more options. It may not show up in wins or anything because the Big Ten is so strong. But I just like they just seem more comfortable out on the floor, more confident, more decisive with their passes, and more used to each other.
Yeah, I mean, in the preseason for our preseason wrap, I predicted 17 wins. I think that's still a fair thing. I think the non-conference schedule sets up where they're going to have 11 or 12 wins before Big Ten starts, and then the two Iowa games that were both losses last year, they need to be wins this year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Those need to be wins. Michigan is down. They can get those Michigan games, and then you can, the Northwesterns and the Penn States, and split, against Minnesota or Illinois or Purdue.
Yeah.
Suddenly you do get up in that 17-18 win range, and then you're talking about a trip to the NIT.
Yeah, well, and of course, a lot could hinge on whether they get the big guy eligible. Who knows how long that'll drag out.
It'll be much easier to play four guards if the fifth man is a true five like Mark Michelle. Yeah. Absolutely. Crean actually said today that he, when they talk about offensive rebounding in practice, you don't even really count Mark because he is so far off the charts from everybody else. Which shows you something, because if you do have four guards in there, and if you're gonna have Verdell Jones and Jordan Holes and Marius Creek and Christian Wofford all out there on the floor, Verdell and Creek are not great rebounders. They need Wofford to be a better rebounder than he has been. He only had 5 tonight. Jordan's a good rebounder for his size, but he's a good rebounder for his size.
Right.
That fifth guy needs to be somebody who's pulling down double-digit rebounds every night.
Right, and blocking some shots and just being a presence out there. And they just don't really have that yet. It was easy. Interior defense was a concern.
He's coming next year. The savior's coming next year, House.
I don't know if he's a savior. He's a darn good basketball player.
Tom kind of hinted at it tonight. He talked about getting the kind of inside players that they need and doing what they need to do right now, and talking about the four-guard lineup, which was a not so subtle hint too. I got Cody Zeller and I got Hunter Perea coming, and those guys can really play.
Yeah, Perea's 2 years away though, right?
Perea's 2 years away.
Yeah. So, I hope people already just are penciling IU for a Big Ten championship just because Cody Zeller steps on campus, because that would be unfair to the kid. But he really is a good basketball player, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to go out and put up 20 and 10.
Not as a freshman.
No.
Not as a freshman. I think he's an all Big Ten player as a sophomore, as a junior. If he makes it to a senior year, I don't know if he'll play 4 years. I could see him being a guy who leaves after his junior year. Feels like that sort of situation.
But you and I were talking tonight when we watched him struggle early against the zone that Florida Gulf Coast put out there. He's the kind of guy. He reminds me a little of Kirk Haston that could float into that foul line area, catch a pass, turn around, shoot a jump shot. They don't really have that, right? And he's tall enough target.
That kind of fundamental vertical play that Indiana used to just kill teams.
Right, or shoot the 16-footer from the baseline. You know, that's an area where he could really help you, and he's just got such a nose for the basketball. I mean, this is such a great, just a great find for Indiana, and a great weekend for their program.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you again Thursday or Sunday. Thanks for watching.
All right.